નમસ્કાર, હું આદર્શ છું. વેલકમ ટુ આદર્શ એજ્યુકેશન સોસાયટી. Dear children, today we have to learn in Standard 9 subject Social Science, chapter number 9. The name of the chapter is Fundamental Rights, Fundamental Duties and Directive Principles of the State Policy. Dear children, first of all, they have to given about the introduction part. Which one? Introduction part. In the previous chapter, we have studied the Indian Constitution, preamble and important pillars as well as the specific characteristic. What they have to say that, dear children? They have to say that in the previous chapter we have studied about the Indian Constitution. We know very well that in the 26th January the Indian Constitution was implemented. So same way they have to given about the Indian Constitution. We have learned in the previous chapter. After we have learned about the preamble as well as the important pillars as well as the specific characteristics. Now in this chapter we will study about the other important characteristic of the Constitution. Now in chapter number 9 we will study about the important characteristic of Constitution, that is the fundamental rights, fundamental duties and directive principles of the state policy. It means, dear children, in this chapter we will study about the fundamental rights, fundamental duties and the directive principle of the state policy. Now first of all they have to given about the human rights. Which one, dear children? Human rights. You know very well about the meaning of the human rights. Human rights, it means manav adhikar, that is known as a human right. Human rights are the basic rights and freedom that belongs to the every person in the world. What is the meaning of the human right? Human right, it means human rights are the basic rights and the freedoms that belongs to every person in the world from birth until the death. And these basic rights are based on shared values like dignity, fairness, equality, respect and independence. These all things we have included into the human rights. Now dear children, they have to given about the human right. Human rights are those rights which not only give a person his or her basic existence but also overall development in which the society help to construct an environment which enable him, her to grow. What was the meaning of the human rights, dear children? They have to say that the human rights are those rights which not only give a person his or her basic existence but they also work for the overall development in which society help to construct an environment which enable it means saksham banana, enable him or her to grow. In every democratic country the citizens are conformed with the basic right. What they have to say that in every democratic country the citizens are conformed, it means arpit karna, diya hua with the basic rights. A person is not discriminated. What was the meaning of discrimination? Discriminated, it means bhedbhav. A person is not discriminated on the basis of their caste, can experience the basic rights. The protection of these rights are assured by the society as well as the nation's welfare. It means here they have to say that in our constitution there is no any kind of the discrimination on the basis of their caste, religion or the race. And that is the duty of the constitution, that and they have given the basic rights to the person. For the protection of that rights are the assured by the society as well as the nation welfare. The person by the birth own rights which are his or her basic rights which are known as a human rights. It means the person by his birth their own rights which are his or her basic rights which are known as a human rights. United Nations General Assembly has declared the human rights on 10th December 1948. Dear children, what they have to say that? They have to say that United Nations General Assembly has declared the human rights day. Which day was declared by the United Nations as a human rights day? It was declared as a 10th December 1948. Which 10th December 1948, the United Nations of the General Assembly declared the Human Rights Day, and the 10th December is celebrated as a Human Rights Day, and that's why we can say that the 10th December is celebrated as the Human Rights Day. From the global announcement of the human rights, certain basic and important human rights are added in the Constitution of the India, and that's why what happened there, some basic as well as the important human rights are added in the Constitution of India, and thereby these rights are protected in the dignified way, and that's why here this human rights means this all rights are protected as a dignified way. Thus those human rights which are included by Constitution of India are known as a fundamental rights, and that's why we can say that whatever the rights are there, human rights are there included in the Constitution of India are known as a fundamental rights, and these all rights are known as a fundamental rights. These human rights proclaim, proclaim it means घोषणा करना, the human being to live in a dignified way. What they have to proclaim, that they have to proclaim as a human being to live a dignified way. Dignified it means abhimani vyasa. For their existence of the human being, the basic needs of the any human beings are food, clothes, shelter, it means home, education and health. What dear children, they have to say that for the existence of the human being, the basic need for any human beings are food, clothes, shelter, education and healthcare should be received in a dignified and respectable way, and these things the any person can get through the dignified as well as the respectful way. Democratic country allow its citizen to enjoy the equal rights, and that's why what happened there in any democratic nation, that any democratic nation allow its citizen to enjoy their equal rights for the multifaceted development, and thus the state guarantees such, that's why the state guarantees such conducive environment. Conducive it means anukul environment wherein one has the protection of fundamental rights, true identity of democratic system, where the protection of fundamental rights are there as well as the true identity of democratic system. Now dear children, they have to given about the in detail about the fundamental rights. The nation stability, what they have to say, that they have to say given about the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights, you know very well that maulik adhikaram. In the nation stability, protection of citizens' freedom and democracy are protected through the fundamental rights. What they have to say, that in democracies are protected through the fundamental rights. Now dear children, they have to given about the fundamental rights. First, rights to equality, right to freedom, right against the exploitation, exploitation means शोषण, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and last one, right to constitutional remedies. It means the संवैधानिक उपचार. These all are the basic 6 fundamental rights are there. Now we will study in the detail one by one. First, they have to given about the right to the equality. Which one, dear children? Right to equality. Equality before the law and equal protection law. What they have to say there? Equality before the law. It means each and every person are equal in the front of the law. So they have to say that equality before the law and equal protection of the law are included in the rights to equality. These two things was included in the rights to the equality. This fundamental rights is the major foundation of all other rights. This whatever the fundamental rights are there, this all fundamental rights is the major foundation of all the rights. And privilege, and they all are privilege. Privilege it means visheshadhikar, privilege and guaranteed to the Indian citizen, and they given the guaranteed to the Indian citizen. It is one of the chief guarantee of the Constitution of India, and that's why we can say that it is the one kind of the chief guarantees of the Constitution of India, and thus it is the imperative. Which one? Imperative. Imperative, it means necessary, avashyak, that every citizen of India has easy access to the court to exercise his or her rights to the equality. And that's why what happened, that every citizen of India has easy to access to the court for exercise of his or rights to the equality. And according to these rights, no person shall be shown the favoritism on the basis of the color. According to these rights of the equality, here no any kind of the favoritism, no any kind of the partiality on the basis of their color, caste, creed, and the languageism. Law is equal to all, and that's why they have to say that the law is equal to all, from the peon to the prime minister. That's why from the peon, it means from the basic level to the upper level, from the bottom level to the top level. Here the all rights of the equalities are the equal from the peon to the prime minister. They act against the law. They are treated the equally and are bound. They all are treated equally as well as they all are bound. Bound, it means બંધન કરતા હોવું, શરતોનું પાલન કરવું. Bound to the general court of law. However, the president and the governor have certain privilege. What they have to say that, dear children? Here in the constitution, they given the president as well as the governor have certain privilege. Privilege, it means visheshadhikar dena. Now, in each and every circumstances of the law should be prevailed equally. It means what they have to say, that they have to say that in any kind of the circumstances, it means parithiti, that the law should be prevailed equally. It means the laws are equal for each and everyone. There should be the no any kind of the discrimination. Here we can say that here no any kind of the discrimination, yani vedbhav or specific favoritism shown to the any particular person or class. It means in the law they have to say that there is no any kind of the discrimination or there is no any kind of the favoritism we can show in the any particular person or the class. Every law should be equally and disseminated. What they have to say, that every law should be equally as well as the disseminated. Disseminated, it means prasarit karna, that every person shall have the equal admittance to the public places. It means the every person shall have the equal admittance. Admittance, it means pravesha. It means admission to the public places. To the public places like shop, restaurant, hotel, public entertainment. Places have equal access to the road, lake, and use of public well and the bathing ghats. It means each and every person have the permission and the authority to enter in the public places. You cannot doing the any kind of the discrimination on the basis of their caste, religion, or the race. However, the state has the right to make the any special arrangement for the women and the children for the development of any socially and educationally backward classes. What they have to say, that, dear children? Here they say that state have the right to make any special arrangement for the women as well as the children for the development of socially as well as the educationally for the backward classes or the scheduled caste or the scheduled tribes. It means SC and ST category. No citizen shall be discriminated on the basis of their race, caste, religion, creed, descent, or the places of the birth in respect of any government services. It means in the any kind of the government services, you cannot do the any kind of the discrimination on the basis of their race, on the basis of their caste, on the basis of their religion, on the basis of their creed. Creed yani panth. Descent, it means once. It means here they have already said creed, descent, or the places of the birth for the any government services. Higher education under the states. In the matter of the state public service and the equal opportunity have to offer to all the citizens. What they have to say, that in the matter of the state of the public services Here they have given the equal opportunity to have been offered to all the citizens. However, the state is given the permission to make the decision regarding the required qualification for the said services. What they have to say that here the state has given the permission and make the decision for regarding the qualification for the any services. Now, as a guarantee to the social justice and the personal dignity, untouchability is abolished and its practice in any form is prohibited and the punishable offence. What they have to given that, dear children, they have to given that as a guarantee to the social justice as well as their personal dignity, the untouchability is abolished. Abolish it means nabud karna, and it is the practice in any form of prohibited and the punishable offence. If any person can doing the any kind of the partiality or discrimination, then there is a punishable offence, and these things was all are to be the prohibited in our constitution. Now they will say that title and FATS means upnamu, title it means shishraku, which create the artificial discriminated in the society have been removed. It means whatever the titles are to be the given as well as the artificial discrimination is there, all things was to be the removed. The adjectives used before the name like Sir, Diwanji, Rai Bahadur, these all things are to be the removed with adjective. Adjective it means Visheshadhikar, Visheshan. This all are to be the removed. Which one? Sir, Diwanji, Rai Bahadur, all are removed. After the independence, the government in order to facilitate the special contribution and achievement of the individual in the various field give a special awards. What happened there? After the independence, the government give the order for the facilitate for the special contribution for achievement of any individual into the various field, and this special award like Bharat Ratna Award, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, Paramveer Chakra is awarded in the military services. These all are the name of the awarded they have given in the military services. Adjective like General, Major, Chief Marshal, Field Marshal are added before the name in the military service. These all are the above name. This all name was added in the military services, which is not considered as a violation of the rights to the equality. And whatever this above name are added in military service is not considered as a violation of the rights to the equality. The aim of this right is to form an equitable society and thereby establish the rule of law of India. What they have to say that the aim of the rights is to form as an equitable society. It means the equality into the society and thereby establish the rule of law in India. To provide the specific service to the different types of the group or class, there can be a different types of provisions are there. What they have to say that here the different types of the provisions are under the law. For the example, there are the different law for the advocates, doctor, teacher, insurance agency, woman, civilians, it means Kishore, Barko. And the principle of equal pay for the equal work is also the part of the article. What they have to say that the principle of equal pay for the equal worker, it means any individual doing the any kind of the equal work, then you have to pay the equal pay. That's why the principle of equal pay for the equal work is also the part of this article. Thank you for joining us.